Geography is the study of how humans reshape the surface of the earth and how human societies are then shaped by the ways in which we've shaped the surface of the earth. So how do we create the world, and how does the way that we create the world then in turn create us? A very obvious example would be agriculture. Humans at some point started domesticating plants and in order to create food, and in doing so transformed the surface of the earth, changed the biosphere to a certain extent. But then also that had a huge effect on human societies. Human societies had to become more sedentary, more stable. You could have things like surpluses. You could start to have societies that were much more hierarchical. So that's an example of what I mean by that. You can use that way of thinking to really analyze anything that you want. You can analyze film that way. How do the films that we make inform the ways in which we think about the world? And so that's very much a way that I think about landscapes. And in computer vision systems in particular, we can think about what kinds of ideologies are built into computer vision systems. What kinds of things are they designed to see? How are they designed to see? Who benefits from those forms of seeing that are built into the systems, and at whose expense? And so how are the ways in which the technologies we create to see the world for us actually affect the ways in which we live, affect our own social and political and cultural institutions and norms? Premiumbeat.com. So this is an exhibition that is kind of organized around the idea of computer vision and machine vision and kind of the advent of the ways in which we increasingly see the world through machines that we build to see the world for us. We have things like facial recognition software installed at airports and borders, even supermarkets that are looking at people's faces, trying to identify them, even try to identify what emotional state they might be in, trying to identify whether they're men or women. When you put a picture on Facebook or Instagram, there's very powerful artificial intelligence algorithms looking at those pictures and trying to learn something from them. Again, who are you? What kind of objects are in the photos that you put up? What are the dimensions of your apartment? What are all the things that I can learn about you from looking at an image autonomously? And that's really what this exhibition is about, is like, what are the ways of seeing that are built into computer vision systems, infrastructures that are increasingly doing so much of the seeing in the world. I'm interested in images that don't speak themselves, images that you don't exactly know what it is that you're looking at, and that ask you as a viewer to investigate them a little bit more and ask you as a viewer to think about whether or not what you see in the image is true or not. I'm interested, I like images that are complicated like that like don't appear to reveal themselves very simply. And I think that's a very kind of classical strategy and abstraction that is similarly true of abstract painting or what have you, going back to the 19th century at least. There's a different kind of abstraction that happens in computer vision and machine learning and artificial intelligence, which is taking an image and abstracting that image into what's useful for that particular system. And so I think there's a chain of abstractions that's interesting to look at it from that perspective, which is very different than the kinds of abstractions that we talk about when we're talking about humans looking at images. Premiumbeat.com. When we're encountering these sorts of infrastructures, what they're doing is not immediately visible to you. Premiumbeat.com. So these are tools that are very difficult to understand what's going on with them. First of all, because your experience of them is very different than what they're actually doing. Secondly, what they're doing is often proprietary, and it's a trade secret. And third of all, in the case of many artificial intelligence systems, there's no way to audit them. Like, this is something that's a big problem with a lot of AI systems, is that they are they cannot explain why they make the kinds of decisions that they make. Autonomy Cube uses it creates an open Wi-Fi network and that anybody can join. And then when you join the network, it encrypts your data and bounces your internet traffic through a series of random relays around the world, and then dumps you on the internet after going through these relays. So the relays effectively anonymize who you are and where you are in the world. So it's kind of a structure on top of the internet that makes you a little bit less visible to the more surveillance side of the internet. The other thing that the sculpture does is it itself is one of these relays. So it is taking traffic from other people around the world and using the museum's infrastructure to anonymize internet traffic of other people in the world as well. So it makes the communications infrastructure of the museum itself a part of an infrastructure that's designed to allow people to read the internet anonymously.
Premium